what's going on, guys? maksymkorzh here. Surprisingly, I've slightly improved my text editors. In this video I'd like to show those 10 little improvements which kind of makes it usable from now on. It's really interesting, but I've spent the last night until 5 a.m. basically editing the source code of this text editor using this text editor itself. So without further ado, let me quickly demonstrate you what I've been through so far. So say code pi. So first, Control F now allows to search. So for instance, like prim buffer, and Control G allows to move the cursor through all of the instances. So for instance, I'm searching for def, right? And it also allows me to get all of those. So it's quite nice. Now if I just drop back and say just whatever file. So another interesting thing I've added is now Control D actually deletes the lines if only it's not the very last one, which is good. Also tab now inserts fixed number of 4 spaces. Interestingly, this may go in the line itself, which is not obviously supported by editors like XF for Linux, for instance. And what is even more interesting, so here we have how many? 5 lines. So if I say Control T and I want 5 lines to move, let's say 7 points to the right, plausible direction. This is what I have. And I want to return this back. I can say again, like how many? 5, 7, and minus, and I drop them back. Even more interestingly, say this is in Python code, so say Control T, so 5 lines, let's say indent 4 plus, and I want to command this out. So in this case, I can say, so where it's important to put the cursor exactly where I want to start, so it would be counting down below and to the right. So Control T, 5 lines, 1 plus, and now the symbol, and now I just command everything in one single row. So if I want to get back from this, I can say Control T and 5, 1 minus, and that's it. I got rid of those. So this is quite interesting thing to consider. Let's drop back to the source code of the editor. So I've added this sort of a command prompt interface. Excuse me. Command prompt, right? So here's the command prompt interface. So just push the cursor down below. Read search, listen for user input right over in here. Even handles the backspace if it's pressed. Doesn't work with arrow keys, but anyways, and returns the word. It's used by both the search command and indent command to get the user commands and to parse them and to do something later on with those. So I now have 309 lines of code. It was 308. Where did I have one more line of code? I'm not quite sure. But anyways, yeah, another interesting issue now, if I press Control arrow right, it just goes like skips the word. It's another new feature. It's very useful. Well, since we have this cursor drop into in most cases when it passes through this empty line, it drops to the very beginning, so the current x is equal to 0, but we can easily and quickly navigate to whatever we want. Well, I could have kept track of this coordinate where the cursor currently is, but assuming the current implementation just breaks something, it reduces a whole lot of bugs, so I would rather avoid this and just quickly navigate like this. So it's quite interestingly that as long as I was trying to make this kind of perfect, I failed all the time and it just didn't work, and I realized that it's just sort of a throwaway code that I will never ever use for practical purposes. But when I actually started using it and start adding some features that are easy to implement, I can easily add them and they are not introducing bugs, hopefully. And this, by the time of adding those features, I'm feeling like I have a better sense of editing, as it just happens faster, easier, and just really nice. And by the way, if you want to say, you can still copy paste using the Linux built-in features. So just Control-Shift-V and you just paste things in. So obviously I don't need this, I just can get rid quite quickly. So yeah, it doesn't have the selection like the GUI text editors have, but yeah, anyways, it's quite handy. So it's something kind of absolutely unique beast, unique in terms of like being poor, Stone Age editor as I call it. But anyways, the more I work with this, the more I use it to edit its own code, the more addicting it comes, surprisingly. And one last thing is the issue with the syntax highlighting. So just go to the print buffer. So what we have here is literally how the buffer is organized. It's the list of rows, and every row list of rows, and every row is a list of integers. Every integer is an ASCII character. So the problem is that I could have and I already tried like highlighting the keywords and numbers, and this kind of works, but it just slows down things so horribly that if I load a big file, it's not usable anymore, which is just bad, because I was doing this on the fly thing, like attribute on, attribute off when I encounter the keyword, but to match those things, it's too processor power consuming. Well, maybe I'm just doing something horrible wrong, I don't know, but anyways. Another option could be used Pygmint's library, and Pygmint's is a really cool Python library for syntax highlighting. It supports the terminal formatter as well, but for terminal formatter, it's using the NC escape sequences for colors, and unfortunately Curses doesn't understand that, and the Curses at string method actually just adds the bytes to the screen, and it doesn't interpret those bytes as the colors. If I use print instead, it does colorize the source code, and it looks nicely, but if I start kind of scrolling or moving the cursor, it just something horrible starts happening on the screen, like a big mess there. So it's not an option either, so I'm not sure at the moment how can I deal with the syntax highlighting. On the other hand, even though I don't have it, you know, like we all like get used to the syntax highlighted so much that probably like don't imagine our daily coding without that. But you know, like I've been coding for this whole night with this editor, and I didn't use syntax highlighting. I'm just doing like this. And one of the cool things that it doesn't have any like external dependencies other than Python and standard Python libraries. On the other hand, it's really soft for the eyes. So yeah, obviously like seeing the keywords like makes you faster reacting to things, and like orienting easier within the source code. But on the other hand, I realized that for some reason when I look at the source code, I see the keywords anyways, and I see the structure anyways, but it's not highlighted. It's like smooth and everything, soft and everything, and it's probably, well, I might be wrong, but it feels like the eyes are more relaxed in this case, because you're not getting distracted by this colorful picture. So there is something really interesting about like not having the syntax highlight. I know probably it's just an excuse, and if I find a proper way to implement the syntax highlighting one day, maybe I'll add this. But anyway, since I'm doing this only for my personal usage and not really for not intending this to be used by human beings. Anyways, as opposed to the previous video when I was demonstrating the very initial version that was around, yeah, like actually 100 lines less. But now it's already somewhat usable, and as opposed to the last video, now it's really, you can actually give it a try, at least just for fun. So yeah, this is it from my side, guys. Thanks for watching. Until the next time, and take care.